we're waiting for this car to go by here, Mike, just say your name and spell your name for me, please.
It's Mike Yanosik, Y-A-N-O-S-I-K.
And you are the Legion president?
I'm the current president of Branch 67.
Current president of Branch 67, Kimberley. Just look over to this way to me. That's good. Just a very sad day for Kimberley, Mike. Just tell me about this, the final.
It is, when you think of it, our branch has been in Kimberley for 85 years, serving the veterans and the community of Kimberley, and today is going to be our last official due. After this, by the end of December, we will be shutting the branch down totally. Relinquishing our charter.
So many years now has it been since World War II, I'm assuming, or is it pre-World War II?
Actually, pre-World War II. We actually got our first charter, was it still under the British Empire, and then it finally evolved to become the Royal Canadian Legion. And yeah, it's sad to see this come to an end. It's, you know, I mean, it's a part of history, and we all feel very bad that it's having to end now.
You yourself have served in the service. Tell me a little bit about your own service.
Yeah, actually, most of my service was peacetime service and UN duties. I joined in 1960 and served till 1966. I had a chance of serving in Germany as NATO forces, and I did a tour of duty in Cyprus as UN duty. So this is where my military experience came in, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much, and I was glad to become a part of the Legion, even while I was serving. And I didn't get continuous service because I left. When I moved from Victoria, when I got out, I left, I went back to Alberta, and I let my membership expire for a number of years, and I just renewed it again 10 years ago. And ever since then, I've been a part of an executive with Legions wherever I've been living. The last 3 years, of course, I've been the president here for Branch 67.
Now, at one point, like this was quite a vibrant Legion. Tell me, maybe at its peak, how many members you might have had and where we're at today.
I think at one point they were up over 400, 500 members. And of course, this was the place to go on a Friday or Saturday night, because it was a very active Legion, a very busy Legion. Matter of fact, if you weren't here by 6 o'clock on a Friday or Saturday night, you didn't get in because the place was full. You know, it was a very popular place for not just the vets and the Legion members, but their friends and guests. So it was a very active Legion up until I guess about 10 years ago. It started slowing down, and gradually over the years, it's just gone down more and more. Less people are partying now or going out. Our Legions of all, our Legionnaire, our members, the average age is 72, 73 years old. Right now, I'm one of the babies. I'm a young 69. So if you look at the aging of the membership, a lot of the vets that came out of the first, well, there's none of the First World War left now, but we still have a few of the Second World War vets that are around. A number of Korean vets that still live in the area. And of course, anybody now that's coming out of the service is classified as a vet. So
I see. So you don't necessarily have to be in combat to get a veteran designation?
Not anymore. I think about 10 years ago they changed the classification. It used to be First World War, Second World War, and Korean War. That's where the vet classification ended. And since then, about 10 years ago, they changed it to where it was peacekeeping members that had served, and then they opened it right up to anybody who has served in the military, a police force, or in the fire department can become classified as a veteran. Well, the military mainly, but the police forces and fire hall members can become ordinary members, which is the same as a member that's come out of the military. You get all this traffic flow.
Mike, I want you to reach down and just tell me how you're feeling about this very significant, sad day in Kimberley.
It's very sad, very, very, very sad day. I wish we could have kept it going, but we don't have the manpower to run it. We don't have the finances to run it. Like right now, we've balanced out our finances, so we're going out in glory. We've had no debts or anything. So we finally, and with the sale of our building a year ago, we were able to pay off everything. And later on today, we're going to make some donations back to groups in community so that some of that money stays in the community where it belongs, because that's where it came from. And of course we've got to thank the citizens of the community of Kimberley especially for all the support they've given us over these many years. And it's going to be missed in the community because it has been a part of the community for so many years.
Yeah. What is the Legion going to be now? Is it going to be a home, or who bought it, and what are they going to use it for? Any idea?
Actually, it's a business out of Kimberley that has bought the facility. We don't know exactly what they're going to do with it yet. I think right now they have it up for rent if anybody wants to rent it. But it's still a landmark in Kimberley.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Again, our cenotaph, which is here, we've talked to the city, and that's going to be remaining right where it is. So it's still going to be in a very prominent location where lots of people are going past it, and we'll be able to remember that we had people that served from here.
Yeah.
They gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Anything else you want to say about the day? Like anything else that's?
I think the thing that's remarkable about today, we're actually hitting 3 11s. We got the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th year. It's just something that's happened and has come about, and it's made it sort of a remarkable day for us. So it's 11/11/11 for us today. So.
Interesting. Very good. Just one moment. Just one final question. You mentioned earlier at its peak there was probably upwards of 500 members here. How many would there be now?
As of 2010, we had 89 members, and only, I can't remember the exact number now, around 40 were actually ordinary members, which are ex-service personnel. The rest are associate members, which are family members, and affiliate members, which are just club members. But of course, the Legion has opened it up so that everybody now can serve as part of the executive or help to take on some of the jobs.
I see.
So
it's a very small club.
Yeah, like last year when we had to shut our building down. We dropped down from 225 down to about 85 members because we had to shut the facility down.
I see.
So, but we are, and even this year we are going to do the honor of allowing members, if they wish to join for 2012, we will issue them their 2012 memberships, which will give them another year to transfer to another branch, wherever their choice. Wherever they would like to join. They can either go to Cranbrook, Invermere, wherever, or there's a provincial holding company that they can join so that they can continue with their Legion memberships.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, sure. picture on my way. Oh, I gotta leave space here for the mayor. I'm after the mayor, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 will be the mayor. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4. 3 then. Okay, so that's the mayor, right?
Yeah, could I just ask your name, sir?
Heiner Corneliuson.
Corneliuson?
Yep.
How do you spell your last name, Heiner?
Corneliuson.
Yeah. Heiner, this is the final day, the final remembrance ceremony, final parade, 11/11/11 for Kimberley. This is the last one. Just your thoughts about that. How sad that might be for you.
Well, I think it's a disgrace to stop the ceremonies from happening, eh? Just because the Legion is out of Kimberley, it's for the veterans and the people who lost their lives during the war, the Remembrance Day. That's just a government deal. So, I mean, why would they cancel it in a city? You know, I mean, it doesn't cost anything, really. And I don't care how old you get, you still should remember those that died to give us our freedoms that we enjoyed for the last 75 years. Otherwise, what do they got? The government we got now is trying to cut funds for everything for the veterans that are coming home now. We got wounded coming home from Afghanistan. We've got soldiers killed fighting for freedom. And we don't have any freedoms in Canada to remember all this stuff, eh? I think it's a disgrace myself.
So you think they should carry on?
I think so. I think our government, if should just say yes. You have a service. Because as long as the people here want it, it should be available. You know, and we got a great air cadets group in this town that does us honors by traveling and keeping up the tradition of the Air Force. Well, Cranbrook's got their Army cadets and the Air Force cadets. You know, and their Legion in Cranbrook isn't doing too well either. So why aren't they cutting it out there?
Are you willing to make your thoughts known to the town, the mayor, the council?
Well, yeah, I believe that they should keep the tradition. After all, men died for this, so we could sit on our fat butts and enjoy life with the freedoms that we got. And I don't think that should ever be forgotten. You know, First World War, Second World War, Korean War, and all the little wars in between. People have died for this right. So I think they should still have the tradition.
Heiner, I'm going to ask you to spell both your names for me.
Heiner, E-I-N-A-R. Corneliuson, C-O-R-N-E-L-I-U-S-O-N.
Okay, thank you very much, Heiner.
You're
Thanks for your
welcome.
time. Could you tell me a little bit about your own family history?
Well, it's like my dad was overseas in the Second World War for the full length of the war. And my uncles, all my uncles and cousins were in the Second World War. And Uncle Dave Parkin from Cranbrook he was wounded in Holland. They went right through Holland and all that. And, you know, these are things that, and on my wife's side, my kid's great-granddad, he was in the First World War, right through, he was in artillery during the Second World War. And fought all during the First World War and then into the Second World War, and then, you know. So it's just a tradition, and my sons, both my nephews were in the forces. One was in the Air Force, and one was in the Army. And they're out of there now. They put in their time. And
I understand that he was in Afghanistan just recently.
my son, my youngest son, was in Afghanistan. He was over in Bosnia, and he was, you know, he was in the armed forces, and they sent him all over the place. What they call Peace Force and all that. He didn't think much of that, I'll tell you. He said, they called it a peacekeeping force in Afghanistan. It was straight dirty war, that's all it was. I said it wasn't, you didn't know who your enemies were, and it wasn't the Canadians that did any of the killing, it was their own people, you know. So now when they're coming, bringing back our wounded and our dead from Afghanistan, even yet, people just don't understand what's going on. It's a war. And our government says, you go, you go. And he's very upset about allowing deserters from the Canadian or American Army to come in the forces and come to Canada, and our government's granting them amnesty and allowing them to stay here because they deserted from their own forces, and they're still sending Canadians over to Afghanistan. I said it's wrong. And I think the government should be stepped on for all this kind of stuff. I said, I mean, I'm not against the Americans, I'm against the deserters. Because they chose the armed forces to be in the armed forces and what they call the National Guard, and they get paid money all the time for that, whether they're going anywhere. But then when they're forced to go somewhere, bingo, they all desert.
Thank you very much.
You know, I just disagree with that policy.
Say your name and spell your name for me, if you don't mind.
Barb Vogelaar, Vogelaar.
Now, Barb, you are a longtime Kimberley resident.
Yes,
Today is quite a sad day for Kimberley.
definitely is.
Yeah. Tell me about that. How are you feeling?
Well, it's always been a good thing to have it for here because it gives people to tell their young ones more about what's going on, and what happened and this sort of thing, But now they won't have that, so, and it's a real shame that they had to close it down on us. Yeah.
I had at least one person say, well, okay, the Legion's shut down, they sold the building, but that should not preclude us from having a service and a ceremony.
No, that's true. We should be able to keep it coming up if we can, but whether they do or not is something else, Yeah. They need to have a place where people can meet afterwards as well. That's the biggest thing right now. Yeah, because they don't have a hall anymore that they can meet and talk over old times, Yeah.
Now you make a good point about the young people coming up and how they ever gonna really know about.
Exactly, because you ask them if they know what the 311s are and they haven't got a clue. You tell them what it is and they figure, what does it mean? So you tell them what it means, and oh, well, I didn't know that, and it's too bad that way. We have to remind our little ones that way. Yeah. Hard to say what, yeah. It's just that it's always been a tradition, and I think we should carry it on if we can. And if it's possible to get another hall for us, I'd like to have it back again if it's possible, because we lose so many by not having it here for us to meet, And we have to think for ourselves.
You don't mind.
Well, it's a shame that we don't have it for the meeting, because it helps us to remind us more so of what's going on, and it keeps us. Well, we should be able to have a hall where we can meet and talk about it all the time, because everybody really misses the fact of not having it there. So I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
know, when I went to school here, the Legion parade was just the biggest.
Always. Oh yeah, everybody was. We always had a good crowd for the parade. We never missed out on having a good parade. Bad weather otherwise, everybody was here, which was one good thing, eh? And they're still going to be here again today as well, so that's one good thing. Yeah.
Just please say your name and spell your name for me.
Yeah, it's Murray Nesbitt, Murray-Nesbitt.
Murray, tell me about this day that we're having in Kimberley.
Well, actually, Memorial Day started back in right after the First World War, and it was the First World War veterans that turned around and got together to form the Legion and the Remembrance. So it goes back to about 1918 that they started remembering, and the fallen soldiers, all the people that gave and sacrificed their lives for Canada to be a dominion and to be, well, I guess you could call it independent and free.
And today, this is the final one for Kimberley, and I wonder if you could reach down and tell me how sad a day this is going to be for Kimberley.
Well, actually, losing any service club in a community is a very sad day due to the fact that the service clubs contribute to the community through a lot of funds. And one of the areas that we work off of is the Poppy Fund. And we have veterans in this community that the Poppy Fund supports. And this could possibly go away due to the fact that we don't have the branch anymore. But there are people that are still going to be showing up on Remembrance Day at the Cenotaph, just to remember those that have given up their lives so we could be free.
Is there a possibility that the parade and the ceremony at some point on a smaller scale could actually carry on at some point?
There is that possibility, but what happens is that the veterans are dying off, they're getting older, they're not capable to function like they used to do 40, 50 years ago. I'm one of the younger ones.
From the hot chocolate.
Okay.
Then they can go.
No, their office is.
Have you got a program?
I'll grab a couple. They make things difficult. We can help. Okay.
That one? And hold it?
No, you just have to hit it in, let it turn on, and then you let it go. If you want to take a picture, you click that switch, line it up, move on, and this little button up top.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're going to be in charge of that one.
Okay.
Okay, and if you want to look at what you've done, just flip it over. No! See that.
When we get to you. Don't worry about things. Hang on. Before anyone starts talking. One card. 1, 2, 5. I am right.
You're in the middle. Okay. Oh, good. Oh, she's got them.
Okay, that's locked. So when you guys close it down, it's locked. So, hi, Mike. Take this right out of your way.
Just to start out with, I need you to say your name and spell your name for me.
It's Stanley Douglas Kenner. That's Kenner.
Okay. Just your thoughts about this being the final remembrance for Kimberley.
Oh, it's quite a sad day. This is apparently one of the oldest legions in Canada, but I guess the demographics of Canada is changing. Young people are not really interested in belonging to clubs, clubs of any sort. And I've seen many of the clubs are on a down spire to bankruptcy, and many of them are closing the doors. I was talking to my brother Arnold yesterday, and he says he knows of 5 legions in Alberta that have closed so far. It's not good. There doesn't seem to be any respect of history or what people have done in Canada anymore.
Yeah, it's like you're saying that a lot of the legions are folding up all over Canada. There is some talk in the community about, even though the Legion is shut down, why can't we have a ceremony?
There's no reason why we couldn't have a ceremony. You don't need a building and a clubhouse to be able to have the ceremony here, every year. There's still going to be members here. The cenotaph is still here. I'm quite sure they can find some sort of assistance for a building that we can use for, say, after the parade. No, there's no reason why we can't. I think it would keep a lot of respect in the community, for the military and for what they've done.
And as one of the Kimberley folk here has pointed out, it's really for the young people coming up to let them know just what has gone on in the past.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But we need the community to stand behind us and make sure these things do take place so that the young people remember it. If it's not ever there, they'll never remember it.
And again, I'll just get you to reach down and tell me, just how you're feeling on this here day in Kimberley.
Kind of sad, actually. It's been a long time. I've been in Kimberley for about 20 years now, and this has become sort of a part of the life here. And now that it's going to be gone, well, basically gone, it's like a piece of our history is folded up.
Don, first of all, just get you to say your name and spell your name for me.
My first name?
Yes.
What would you like?
Yeah, well, it's Don McKillop, right?
Right.
And please spell McKillop for me.
McKillop.
No, Don, you have a nickname.
Dynamo.
Dynamo Don. Yeah. Dynamo Don McKillop.
Yeah.
Don, I want you to tell me about how you're feeling today after all of these years and all of these here ceremonies that you've been to in the city of Kimberley.
Well, the feeling's great, to see such a good turnout all the time. And the young little ones and their parents are teaching them the horrors of war and stuff, and to honor all the veterans. It's a real good thing to see. To see so many people out. A lot of the old veterans now, they're passing away or in special care homes and stuff, so the crowds are getting smaller with veterans all the time. So you don't have as many as you used to. It's a shame to see the last in Kimberley here now, the parades, but maybe they'll try to keep it going another year or so. It's tough.
About the young people and when the parents bring their kids to an event like this, it is really a golden opportunity to show them the past.
It sure is. Yeah, it's nice to see them little ones Cubs and that playing race at the cenotaph. Watching it warms your heart quite a bit. See such good thing like that going on. It's not every day they have an event like this, so to honor it, good feeling.
Is it your feeling that the ceremony could carry on in a smaller way, even without the Legion building?
Especially, it's a good honor for the ones that have already sacrificed their lives for the rest of us, and we're still here to be able to do what we are doing. In that respect.
And you served in Korea, Don?
Yes, I was there 14 months. I was there during the war.
So
I'd worked for Kamenko before I went in the Special Force. And my time carried on. I just got discharged and went right back to Kamenko to work. So that was a good outfit to work for at that time.
Is there any anecdotes at all that you would like to share with us about your experience in Korea?
I don't find too many good ones, you know, that's the trouble. You know, you forget over the years. It's been a long time, you know, but I had a lot of good friends there and lost some, you know. Tragic. But, other than that, we had some good times too. You know, ran into somebody that you knew from a different regiment and had a few acai beer with him. You know, stuff like that.
And that war really isn't over yet. They haven't actually.
No, it's pretty static now, but I don't know. One day they might get unified again, but with the way things are going with the leader they have in North Korea, it's not going to happen for a while. Maybe the younger son might change things, but the whole world is changing, so, you know.
Anything significant you think about 11/11/11 and being the final day for Kimberley's remembrance?
Well, hopefully it's not the last one. You know, some volunteers now might try to get it going again, or yes, we'll maybe try to get some up in Cranbrook. Here, you know, it's a shame with the cenotaph being here to just have the last hurrah, you might say. But hopefully things might turn out a little better, and we'll find out in time, I guess. But, it's a great day anyway.
It's a great day, but it's a sad day.
Yes, it is. It's sad and happy for some, sad for others.
Well said, Ron. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Right.
For the editors, just say your name and spell your name for me.
Norm MacDonald, MacDonald with a small d, and I'm the MLA for Columbia River Revelstoke.
Norm, just your thoughts about this day for Kimberley, and really how sad it might be.
Well, this, as you know, we're at a time when we have people serving overseas, so it's, in particular, we're thinking of them and their families, but this is an important gathering for the community, and it's always heartening to see not only people who have family, they know family that served, but there's an awful lot of young people and children that come too, so it's always heartening. It's a wonderful ceremony, and one that you can see Kimberley embraces. Lots of people out, as always.
Could there be a smaller version of a ceremony in years to come, even without a Legion here?
I think the challenges for Legions everywhere in Canada are real, but I think what you will see is the values, the things that the Legion represents are things that the community as a whole embraces. As I say, you look and there are so many children, so many young people that understand that the democratic rights they have, the freedoms that we have been earned by veterans that have come before us, and we respect that. And that's not something that's ever going to go away, even if the Legion's not there here in Kimberley. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Flag party, Tariq, flag. Guard, go left, hard.
gentlemen, to remember say, would men over the age of 12 please remove your hats? Receive the bouquet. We will now have the last post and the silence.
Order. Flags. Ease. Flag party, stand at ease.
The act of remembrance. They shall not grow old, as we are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. Our prayer and address will be done by Pastor Derek Smith.
I'd like to read from the Christian scripture from Matthew. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. This last week, CBC was wandering around Kelowna and places asking people why they came to a remembrance service and what it meant for them. So I've been reflecting that question over the last few days, and what it means for me is that my father was in the war. He joined up at a very early age, around the age of 15. Trained and went to France with the British Expeditionary Force, and spent 2 days on the beaches of Dunkirk waiting to be pulled off at the age of 17. Now my grandmother, my Nana, was a short, strong person, and she had a voice like a sergeant major on, and you could hear her a mile away, and she refused to pull him off the beaches because he had made his choice to do what he had to do. So part of that for me is when he came home, how he had changed. And what a different person he was after that experience of the Second World War. He fought in Italy, North Africa. He struggled with what happened when he came back. He struggled with what he saw and how he was. And unfortunately, the only way I could get my dad to talk about what happened was when we had a few pints of beer together. And he loosened up. And the horror he saw was unbelievable. It's not something I would ever wish to see. So I'm here to honor his memory and all of those who went with him, all those men and women who joined for justice and a cause to bring peace to the world. But unfortunately, we continue on creating war to settle disputes. Thank you. Let us pray. God of peace and love, on this 11th day of the 11th month, we once again gather to remember. We remember that in Jesus of Nazareth, you have called us to be people of peace, saying, Blessed are the peacemakers, and reminding us that we are to love our neighbor and our enemy as we love ourselves. But we also acknowledge that there are times when we as a global community fail to live out those words. Times when young men and women hear the call to don the uniforms of their country and serve under their flag. Today we give thanks for all who have chosen to serve their country. We give thanks for their bravery, their commitment, and their love. But we know that when enemies meet on the field, there are always some who don't come home. And so we pause in memory for those who went and did not return, to mothers, fathers, wives, and children that were left behind. We remember the Battle of Ypres and Passchendaele and Vimy Ridge in the war when we were told would end all wars. Battles where the blood of enemies mingled in the mud and water of France and Belgium. And remember those who fell in the war that came a scarce generation later. And again, young men died in places like Hong Kong, Ortona, Dien Heights in Cambodia, and still some died and were buried. And now, these last few months, is peace. On this day, we not only remember the fallen of Canada, who lie buried under a military tombstone. We remember also the fallen of Germany, Japan, and France, and Australia, or Italians and native Afghanistans and English. This day we honor all who die as a result of humanity's common failing to live in peace. We have hope for all these millennia. God, we pray too for those who returned from the battle forever changed by what they had seen. For those who bore and still bear wounds of body and soul. In particular, remember those who from this Legion community who have died since the last time we gathered in this way. And now, God of love, as we have remembered and honored, we prepare to go back into our everyday lives. May the remembering we have done here today reawaken and strengthen our commitment to work for peace, true peace. Help us to remember the peace that will never truly come from a gun barrel, but from the depths of our hearts. Help us to remember our calling to be peacemakers at home and abroad, in the big things and in the small. And may we never forget the cost that has already been paid. God of peace that surpasses all understanding, we pray our remembrances, our hopes in the name of Christ, the Prince of Peace. Amen.
Remembrance Day 2011, the 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month. To all the armed forces, Air, Army, Navy, these brave men and women gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. We give thanks for the freedom and peace we have today. Our forces serve the world. They carry the message of peace, protecting the most precious gift. Human life. God bless them. We thank you from our hearts. Let us not forget.
Thank you, Ken. We will now have the laying of the official wreaths of the Government of Canada. Mr. M. Campbell. Pardon. Okay.
Wreath layers, wall out.
Go sit over there.
For the City of Kimberley, Mayor Jim Ogilvie. Mother, Mrs. Minnie Pashishnik. Forces, Master Warrant Officer Patrick O'Grady. Canadian Mounted Police, Kimberly. Firefighters. The Royal Canadian Legion, President Mike Yanosek. Service clubs will now lay their wreaths at their ease, starting with the Beta Sigma Phi. CWL, Knights of Columbus. Eastern Star, Selkirk Masonic Lodge. Kimberley United Church. Elks in the Royal Purple. Selkirk School. Lindsay Park School.
the guards!
Set off guard! Present arms! Set it off guard! Slope arms! Set it off guard! Left and right! Set it off guard! Quick march!
Flag party, carry flag. Flag party, right turn. Flag party, quick march. Right wheel. Right wheel. RCMP, fire department, fire flag party. Halt. Squad, left, right, turn. Flag party, dismiss. By the left, quick march. Germany fight band, march up.